Let's imagine that we're kind of consulting or coaching a mortgage professional who, they have a CRM and they have maybe did some automated digital newsletter that their company create. They don't know how to be involved in, so it's not even personalized, right? It's like default vanilla content. So they have like this minimal relationship, if you even want to call it that. And there's the occasional maybe automated happy birthday thing or automated Christmas thing, and they call the person maybe once a year, maybe, right? But usually it's when it's convenient for them and they think there's opportunity, right? And it's very opportunistic in that capacity, and I think short-sighted generally. What are some things that you think somebody in that situation could do? Because a lot of this is, I don't want to say theoretical because that's not the right, but it's high level. This is kind of principle and strategy, not so tactical, right? But for somebody they're like, okay, well, this is how I've been taught. This is what my sales trainer taught me to do. I'm not great at sales. I haven't really done this. How can they take some steps? Because it's one thing to hear from you. It's like, yeah, okay, you can call Elton John. I don't have anybody that's special I can call aside from my mom. How do I get a step in your direction? How do I, kind of evolve a little bit? What's the first phase of this?
So you're seeing me at the kind of tip of my iceberg, okay? You're seeing me with the confidence, the Rolodex, the credibility, the notoriety. You're seeing all of that. Go back 30 years, and I was still 240-pound of pierced biker. Excuse me. I think I swallowed a fly. I knew I was not good looking. I knew I was not suave. I knew I was not fuzzy and warming. But I knew I had your solution. So I was shit with sales. I'm shit at networking. My God, you take me to a networking event, I'll be the guy in the corner drinking my old-fashioned, growling at anyone that comes 5 feet within me. Okay? I am god-awful at networking, and anyone you ask will be like, oh yeah, he's hilarious. But I do not give up a, hey, come hug me and talk to me about your problems kind of vibe. But I'm there to solve. You don't have to worry about being a salesperson. You need to worry about being smart enough to solve the problem they have. And if I can solve your problem, you're going to keep coming to me. You're going to come to me time and time again. So focus, first of all, are you a solution to somebody's problem? That's the first thing. Then, how can you show they care? And you mentioned about, well, my mentors or my trainers taught me this. The problem with the trainers that train the trainers is that this is information going back 30 years. Nothing that we did 6 months ago is engaging today. You've constantly got to tweak the wheel. One of the things I like to do, and I've actually trained people on this, so you're getting this firsthand and free, is text. Most people will open up an email and respond, if politely, within a 48 to 72 hour period. Most people will respond to a text within a 2-hour period. So you've got a far faster and shorter conversation on text. Okay? Now, if you're working an area, you mentioned Arizona, maybe there's a new restaurant that comes out that's just got a great review, and you text all of your people, which is going to take you. Now, you can buy a mass texting system through a company like Twillo's, or there's other companies out there that you can do mass texting, or you could just text it directly from your phone and go, hey, John, saw the review of the latest Vietnamese restaurant, looks great. If you're ever free on a Friday, maybe you should take the family there. Cut and paste that whole thing, change obviously the first name, and spend 10 minutes while you're drinking your coffee just texting 50 clients. Oh, the new fair's coming up. Oh, there's a street market going on. Oh, I saw the hurricanes coming in. Make sure your patio equipment's down. Little stuff like that being texted out separates you from the people that quite openly don't do this shit, because they're still doing the email with the pretty pictures. They've still got that picture up there on the realtor board that they shot 30 years ago when they were thinking about doing soft porn. They've got all of those kind of standard kind of things. But when you show you care, everything else goes by the wayside. And I think that's the thing. I had a client in LA, and sadly, and I regret this, and that's a great reaction, she didn't sell me my house. There was another woman that sold it that I've never conversed with since. But that woman, every email she sends out, there's one house. And then there's a list of things that are happening in Los Angeles, from markets to high-end restaurants, the latest store that got a good review, road works going on. It's like a local guide. Now, I've never, ever done business with that woman, and I don't intend on moving out of the house that I'm in. But I have forwarded her email probably 20 times every time it lands in my inbox. And I know she's got clients out of me. So are you dealing with the person, or are you dealing with that circle? And you can only show you care when you step up to care.
This reminds me of a quote that I heard. It's not really a quote. It was more of a story, and I think it was on a YouTube video I watched. But a guy was talking about. He posed a question. He said, if you think back to your childhood and you think back to the people that you loved most, the people you just like, if you think about them, you feel just like, oh man, they're good people. Were they interested or were they interesting? And he's like, when you pose that question, it's like, well, it was my cousin. My cousin would always come over and he would bring me something and he'd spend time and he'd ask me questions. And, it wasn't that these were like NASA rocket scientists. They weren't, Michael Jordan. I mean, for some people that's a reality, but it's like for most people, it was a pretty normal person who was interested. It wasn't that they were interesting. It wasn't that you were like, oh, this person has such a cool rap sheet and resume. No, they cared. They took the time. They invested, and they were interested in you. It's not that they were and some people would be interested and interesting, right? But on average, the commonality was they were interested in you. And as a child, you felt special. You felt cared for. You felt connected, right? And the main difference is nothing changes in that from going from child to adult, other than the fact we kind of stopped doing it, right? We kind of stopped being interested. We focus on being interesting, but then we let go of the thing that actually connected us.
In our conversations and in our clients, everyone's looking to get the sharper sword. They're all looking to get the better marketing, the better methods, the better CRM, the better email, the better conversion, the better open rates. And everyone starts looking at the icebergs. They start looking at the top of the trees. They start looking at Gary Vee. They start looking at Simon Sinek. They start looking at all of these people that are going to help them up there. I go arse up, okay? I look at the local heroes. When you go out to get your pizza, where do you get your pizza from? When you go out to get your pastries, where do you get? When you're getting some running shoes, when you're getting your car fixed, when you're getting your tires changed, what is it that always makes you go back to Ronnie's tires to get the tires done? What is it that compels you? Is it because Ronnie's like stonkingly good looking and has got a YouTube channel with 4 million followers? Sure shit, probably not. But he is what he is. He's impossible to misunderstand, and he provides a solution that works for you. And that's why you're loyal. And then whenever your tires go, you're back at Ronnie's. You don't think. And good marketing, good relationships is when there is no other alternative other than the one you have.
Yeah.
That's what it's good for. So I suggest any marketing you're doing now, any way of trying to stand out, before you start looking at I've got to improve my CRMs, I've got to look at text accounts, I've got to look at Gary Vee, I've got to look at all of these, Steve Sims, I've got to look at all of these. Who do you spend your money with on a day-to-day basis, and why have they got your attention? And as you say, it'll always come down to that single thing. They provide a solution to your problem. It could be a great cup of coffee, could be a tire, but they're there for you, and they're dedicated to you because your credit card is dedicated to them.